Hey, what's going on guys, Impulse here and welcome back to another Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I'm going to be having a battle against Ash Greninja, also known as AG or Master Zane. As you can see, it's a mixed tier battle and the teams consist of Garchomp, Mimikyu, Vaporeon, Incineroar, Arcanine and Shiinotic. And my opponent's team is a Starmie, Conkeldurr, Hippowdon, Greninja, Togekiss and Metagross. So if you're excited for the battle, go ahead and smash that thumbs up down below and we'll jump straight into it. So the battle's going to start off and I'm challenged by Master Zane, who's going to send out a Starmie. I'm going to send out Garchomp, and as you can see the battle has been speeded up slightly, so it might be a little bit more difficult for me to narrate. I'm going to make that switch in case he wants to go for a burn or anything like that, and Vaporeon takes it nicely. For some reason he is going to go for a rapid spin. I'm going to get a toxic off and it's going to start wearing this Starmie down while it's in. Of course it has got the natural cure, so it can switch out and get some recovery later on. So after a couple of turns, we're in a position where he's getting chipped away from the poison and I'm in a pretty decent position health wise. So he's going to have to make a switch out. But first he's going to go for one last turn. I'm going to keep going for the toxic, try and catch whoever he switches into. And yeah, I'm looking pretty decent on health. He's getting chipped down, so now of course he is going to switch out. And he goes out into Conkeldurr, which is a good switch. And it means that I am going to give him a guts boost, which is going to increase his damage, which is really bad for me. So it was a good play by him. So he's hurt by the poison, it's not too bad. I'm going to switch out into Garchomp to start chipping up even more damage. Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin as he goes for a poison jab. So he takes a bunch of recoil and the poison is starting to rack up, and there's nothing really I can do to this thing at this amount of HP. So I decide to set up Stealth Rocks, figuring it's more important. He goes for his Ice Punch and he's going to take a ton more damage from the Ricochet and then of course the poison, leaving him on very little indeed. So Shiinotic's going to come in and I'm going to make a dirty play. I'm going to use a Protect and pretty much finish this thing off from the poison. So it's looking alright in my favour. We're both looking in a decent position, but I've got the rocks up. So Greninja comes in and I can't really stay in against this thing. So I'm going to have to switch out and I go into Arcanine, predicting the poison move. He goes for his Gunk Shot, gets his boost, and after the Intimidate it's not going to do a great deal of damage. It does decent, but now obviously I'm going to have to switch out into the Vaporeon. But he goes for an Extrasensory, so no water absorb for me, and he's just going to get a lot of damage on me, which kind of sucks. So I decide to go for a Protect, get back some more leftovers damage as he goes for his Dark Pulse. And yeah, that would have probably taken me out, so good job I did that. And now he's going to switch out and go out into his Togekiss. I decide that I've got not really much to do, so I go for a Wish in hopes that I can survive, so it was good that he actually switched. Leftovers are going to do their thing, and then he's going to go for their Thunder Wave. Unfortunately for him it misses, and I'm able to land a Toxic, so Poison's going to start chipping up on this thing as well. So Leftovers and Poison's going to start taking effect, and then I'm going to go for a Protect to see what this thing wants to do, as he goes for an Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere is not too bad though, so I don't really mind it too much. And yeah, he's going to make a withdraw into Starmie. Starmie's going to come in, not poisoned anymore, as I go for a Wish. He does take some damage, but he's got leftovers, so it's not too bad for him. He tries to go for a Rapid Spin, but I see that coming a mile away, go into Mimikyu, and I'm going to be able to Spin Block. So the rocks are still up as he goes for his Scald. I'm hoping for the non-burn, and thankfully he doesn't get the burn, and I'm able to set up a Sword Dance. So he's going to recover a little bit more, but there's no way that Starmie is going to survive. I've actually predicted a switch here, but he doesn't switch. He goes for the attack, and I'm going to be able to Leech Life and get all that HP back. Thankfully he didn't get the burn, he didn't go for the Scald, and yeah. So Metagross is going to come in, and that's a big problem. There's not much I can do to it, but I'm going to stay in anyway. Metagross is going to Mega Evolve, and he goes for his Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash is going to be able to take me out with no problem, and out comes Arcanine. Arcanine gets the Intimidate boost, And yeah, well, drop not boost, sorry. And Earthquake's gonna come in, do a nice amount of damage, not quite enough to finish me off, and I'm gonna go for a Morning Sun. I was just kind of scouting, see how much it'd do, and I figured I don't want to stay in and take another one. He actually goes for the Earthquake again, and we resist that. He's got the Intimidate, so it's not too bad for us. So we're going to get a bit more recovery back, and I'm going to go back out into Arcanine just to wither its attack down with Intimidate, figuring I've got nothing better to do at this point in time. We resist it, -2 as well, and we've got Rocky Helmet for recoil. He doesn't like that, so he goes out into his Powdon. I'm going to go for Morning Sun. Unfortunately, I'm not going to gain as much as I could have because the weather impedes my recovery, but it's still better than nothing. So at this point, figure he's going to get his rocks up, but there's nothing I could do about that. And yeah, Shiinotic's going to come out and force him to move off in a second. I'm going to go for the Leech Seed, expecting the switch, but it doesn't actually go for the switch, and he's just going to whirlwind me out. So Vaporeon comes out, and yeah, we're going to take some rocks damage, but of course we're also going to take some leftovers and Leech Seed recovery. So we're not really in the worst position in the world. So he doesn't like that. He's going to switch out and go back into Metagross. There's not much I can do, so I'm going to go for a Toxic. Unfortunately, that doesn't affect the Steel type, so it was a good switch on his part. I'm going to have to switch out now because I don't really want to take an attack from a Metagross, and I want to wither it down a little bit more on the attack. Fortunately, he does have his rocks up now, which means I'm going to be taking damage from doing the switches. And yeah, he's going to go out into his Togekiss. Togekiss takes some Stealth Rock damage, and Will-O-Wisp is going to fail because it's already poisoned. So good play on his part again. I figured he was going to roost up, so I figured I'm going to do the same. I'm going to get some HP back. I'm going to restore, but he's actually just going to go for an Air Slash. Does some decent damage, but there's not really much he can do now. He can't really stay in too long with this guy. I can keep healing off, and that's what I'm going to do. He actually goes for his Roost now, figuring he needs some HP back, so I predict to switch at this point, and yeah, I kind of expecting it. Poison does a decent amount of damage, and I'm just going to go for a Flamethrower to get some damage on whatever comes in, but he actually just goes for a Thunder Wave, so he's going to cripple Arcanine. So he's going to make a withdraw as poison starts to rack up, and he goes out into Metagross for some reason. I've got nothing else really to do, so I'm going to go for the Flamethrower once again, and that's going to be able to score a KO on the switching, so not exactly the best play there. Now he's going to bring in his Greninja, and yeah, I can't say anything against that thing, so out comes Vaporeon. Thankfully it's at full HP, takes some damage from the rocks, and then it's going to take a Dark Pulse, which I took quite nicely. Must have been a min roll, and yeah, leftovers are going to do their thing, and I'm going to protect up to get some more recovery. He goes for a Gunk Shot, figuring that I'm weaker on the physical side, and it's not going to work behind the screen. Unfortunately, the second one's going to fire off, and it does do a lot more than the first one, and yeah, I'm going to go for the Wish, and that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. I'm Wish stalling this Greninja out because it bodies my entire team. So I get the recovery back, and the leftovers, and all that good stuff, as Life Orb starts chipping away at him. He realises the plan and goes out into Togekiss. Togekiss is going to take a nice amount of damage as I go for a Wish. Not really scared of the Togekiss at this point, even if he wants to recover. It's on that timer because of the poison, so I know that I can stall it out if I need to. I go out into Arcanine, figuring I've got nothing better to do. I don't want to take another Thunder Wave. And yeah, he's going to go for a Roost, get his HP back up. So not a bad play there, I suppose. I'm going to get my HP up, and yeah, we're just going to try and work around these rocks, to be honest. They're a bit of an issue, and I can't get rid of them right now. So he's going to go for an Aura Sphere as I'm paralysed. Doesn't do a lot of damage to me though, so I'm not really that fussed. And yeah, Poison's racking up once again. He goes for a Roost, get his HP back. And I'm going to go for a Roar to get rid of him. Greninja comes back out, which is great, means it takes some more damage from the rocks. We need to get it down as quickly as possible. And I'm going to go back out into Vaporeon to start tanking this thing. He goes for his Gunk Shock though, and yeah, it's going to do a nice amount of damage once again. He gets a crit and he gets the poison, so it's not very good for me at this point. I've got to sack Vaporeon off. But there's no point in stalling it out anymore, so I'm just going to stay in, not protect or anything. There's literally no point. And yeah, he's going to take out Vaporeon and go down himself to recoil. Now that he's weakened, I can go for my fake out, and yeah, that's going to finish off Greninja. Hippowdon's going to come back in, and yeah, I'm going to go for my Z move. So Incineroar is going to smash up with his Malicious Moonsault. Going to do a nice amount of damage. I wasn't sure how much it was going to do, and yeah, it's not enough to KO, but it's still good. And then unfortunately we're going to go down to a Earthquake. I can't afford to let this thing get his HP back, so I'm going to bring in the Grass type to scare him off. I go for a Leech Seed predicting a switch, but he doesn't want to do that, and he's just going to Whirlwind me away. Arcanine's going to come back in, and that's a problem because of Stealth Rocks. And even after the recovery, I've still got Sandstorm to deal with, so it's put me into a bad position overall. He goes for an Earthquake because I'm paralyzed. He's obviously faster. It doesn't quite take me out, and yeah, he's going to dodge the Will-O-Wisp. So I'm going to take some more damage, and he's going to take some as well from the Leech Seed. There's not really anything I can do right now, so I'm going to switch out. I'm going to go into Shiinotic, and we're going to take some damage, but we've got all resisted on the Earthquake. So I'm pretty much just trying to stall out this thing. Need to get it out of there, but it's being a big pain. So we're going to get some HP back, so that's always a good thing. And yeah, he goes for his Slack Off, which we were fearing all along. Couldn't really do anything to stop it, so I'm just going to go for a Toxic. Sandstorm's going to subside finally, and that's a good thing for me. And I'm going to get some HP back. So I'm going to protect, see what he wants to do, and also to wither him down a little bit more. But he just goes for another Slack Off, so it was a good play for him, and puts me under the pressure of getting destroyed. So I'm going to go for a Leech Seed, but he doesn't want to switch out. He just goes for a Whirlwind, and Arcanine's going to come in, take some damage from the Stealth Rock, and it's going to go down. Hippowdon's being all sorts of problems, and I can't really do much to take it down, just hoping on this poison. So I'm going to come back in with Shiinotic, and yeah, he's going to go for an Earthquake, and I'm going to take that really nicely, and I'm going to try to Leech Seed because I've got nothing better to do. So we're going to get some HP back once again, and he's going to take some damage from his thing. This is obviously my last mon. He switches out into Togekiss. Togekiss is under some pressure from poison as well, and I'm going to Seed up. Now it's got Leech Seed and poison to deal with, and I know that it's going to be able to hit me for super effective damage, so I'm hoping that it can't take me out too easily. And yeah, I'm just trying to stall this thing out the best I can, so I'm going to go for Protect. Protect's going to stop the Air Slash from annihilating me, and that's always a good thing. So I'm chipping away at him a little bit more, and finally this stuff's starting to rack up on him, and he's going to go for a Roost. Obviously he doesn't want his guy to go down so quickly, and I'm going to go for the Strength Sap. No real point to it. I'm at full health, but I've got nothing better to do. So I'm going to Protect again, see what he wants to do. He goes for an Air Slash, but that's not going to take hold. And of course the poison and the Leech Seed are going to put him down to a reasonable amount of HP again. There's nothing I can do, I've just got to go for a move, and unfortunately I get the flinch, and he's going to get some decent damage off on me. Going to get a little bit of recovery back from leftovers, and then a nice amount of back from Leech Seed as Togekiss goes down to the poison. The battle's coming to its close and Hippowdon's on its last legs. Takes a little bit of damage from the Stealth Rocks, but that doesn't really matter too much for it, as it's going to go for a Slack Off. Of course I need to get the recovery back up on this thing, so I'm going to go for the Leech Seed, and now it's just a waiting game to see if he can take me out before it goes down. Doesn't look very favourable in his position. and he's going to be hurt by all the good stuff, and then go for his Earthquake. Earthquake's not going to do anything for me, and now I'm going to start recovering and lowering his attack until the point that he cannot do anything at all. And of course, in the end, we're going to win to Poison Stall. So if you enjoyed the battle or learned something useful, go ahead and immediately mash that like, share and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Laters!